Prince Harry offered King Charles a meaningful gift during their recent peace summit. Imagine trying to repair a fractured relationship with your father by giving him a framed photograph, only to have the entire world speculate about what's in that photo and whether it includes your wife, and then having to issue an official statement clarifying exactly which family members are pictured. Welcome back to the Royal Notebook, where even peace offerings come with press releases and public relations crises. Today we're unpacking what might be the most scrutinized gift exchange since someone invented the concept of reading too much into presents. Prince Harry recently met with King Charles in what's being called a peace summit, and apparently handed over a framed photograph that has sparked more controversy and speculation than anyone could have predicted. Because nothing says, "Let's heal our family rift," quite like having to publicly clarify the contents of a private gift. Let's start with the broader context here because this gift exchange didn't happen in a vacuum. Harry's relationship with the Mountbatten Windsors has been making headlines for years now, ever since he and Meghan relocated in 2020 and subsequently aired a significant amount of family grievances through interviews, a Netflix documentary, and Harry's memoir Spare. We're talking about a family rift so deep and so public that every interaction gets analyzed like it's the Zapruder film of royal relations. Earlier this year, Harry spoke to BBC's Nada Tawfik about his desire for reconciliation, saying, "There have been so many disagreements, differences. I would love reconciliation with my family. There's no point in continuing to fight anymore. Life is precious." It's the kind of statement that sounds lovely and mature until you remember that Harry himself contributed significantly to those disagreements by publishing a tell-all memoir that included details of private conversations and family conflicts. But credit where credit is due, Harry seems genuinely interested in making peace. During his recent visit to the UK, he met with his father King Charles in what was their first face-to-face meeting since February 2024. That's more than half a year without seeing each other, which for most families would be notable but not catastrophic. For the royals, where family gatherings are state occasions and relationships are matters of public interest, it's practically an eternity. According to sources, the meeting was a success and marked an important first step towards rebuilding their father and son relationship. Which is diplomatic language for, they managed to sit in the same room without it ending in disaster. But we'll take what we can get at this point. The bar for Sussex-Windsor relations has been set so low that merely having a cordial conversation counts as a major breakthrough. But here's where things get complicated because apparently not everyone is thrilled about this peace process. Reports around the secret peace summit have been divisive, with some sources claiming that Harry is trying to drive a wedge between Prince William and King Charles. It's the kind of accusation that would be devastating if true, suggesting that Harry's reconciliation efforts are actually strategic maneuvers to isolate William rather than genuine attempts at healing. Harry's spokesperson had to issue a statement shutting down these claims, saying it was categorically not the case that Harry was trying to create division between his father and brother. The spokesperson told The Sun and Hello that the quotes attributed to him are pure invention fed, one can only assume, by sources intent on sabotaging any reconciliation between father and son. Now, that's a pretty serious accusation in itself. Harry's team is essentially saying that there are people actively working to prevent reconciliation by planting false stories in the media. It's the kind of claim that raises questions about who exactly these saboteurs are and what their motivation might be. Are we talking about rival factions within the palace? Other family members? Random troublemakers with access to royal correspondence? But then the spokesperson dropped what might be the most unnecessarily specific clarification in recent royal history. Presumably, those same sources have also chosen to disclose that gifts were exchanged. While we would have preferred such details to remain private, for the sake of clarity we can confirm that a framed photograph was handed over, however the image did not contain the Duke and Duchess. Let's just pause there because that denial is doing some interesting work. The spokesperson confirms that yes, a framed photograph was given, but feels compelled to clarify that Harry and Meghan were not in the picture. Which means that initial reports must have suggested or implied that they were, and Harry's team decided this needed to be corrected. The question becomes, why does it matter whether Harry and Meghan were in the photo? And the answer probably lies in the complicated dynamics of this family reconciliation. If the photo had included Harry and Meghan, it could be seen as Harry trying to normalize his relationship with Meghan in his father's eyes, to make her a more integrated part of family imagery. By clarifying that the photo didn't include them, Harry's team might be trying to show that this isn't about forcing acceptance of his choices but rather about focusing on what Charles would want, presumably pictures of his grandchildren. The fact that gifts being exchanged became public knowledge at all is revealing. These details are supposed to be private, and their disclosure suggests that someone with access to information about the meeting decided to share it with the media. Whether this was done to support the reconciliation narrative or to undermine it depends on who did the leaking and why. What's particularly interesting is Harry's spokesperson's comment that, "We would have preferred such details to remain private." It's a bit rich coming from someone who published an entire memoir detailing private family moments, but it also suggests that Harry is trying to conduct this reconciliation differently than he conducted his public airing of grievances. He wants this peace process to happen quietly, away from media scrutiny, which would actually be a welcome change from his previous approach. The nature of the gift itself is also telling. A framed photograph is deeply personal, the kind of present you give to someone you want to feel emotionally connected to. It's not a generic gift or something purchased from a catalog, it's a curated image meant to evoke specific feelings or memories. The fact that Harry chose this kind of gift suggests he was trying to appeal to Charles's emotional side, to remind him of family bonds and shared connections. But the controversy around what was in the photo highlights how difficult it is for Harry to navigate this reconciliation. Every gesture gets analyzed, every detail gets debated, and every choice becomes a statement about his priorities and loyalties. Giving Charles a photo of his grandchildren should be a simple, heartwarming gesture, but in this context, it becomes a political calculation about whether to include Meghan, which family members to feature, and what message the image sends.